Hi, everyone. My name is Ambriehl Turrentine. I am the Assistant Director of Marketing and Communications for the Destiny City Film Festival. So welcome to the ninth annual edition of our festival. We're very happy to have it in person as well as online this year. So of course, thank you so much for joining. And I would like to thank our guest for joining as well, Chelsea, who is the co-director of the film Tango Body, A Love Story. So Chelsea, would you just like to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and the film?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. We're delighted to screen at Destiny City Film Festival. I think I'll start by saying that I have a longstanding connection to Tacoma, Washington, and that's part of my love of this festival. My mother was born and raised in Reston, and I consider Tacoma my second home. So I also had the opportunity to screen in the 2020 festival with a short called A Non-Binary Story, Reencuentro. And my background is that I have been a longtime professional dancer, artist working in the Argentine tango field. And I came together in 2008 with Rodney Bell, who is a professional dancer in the modern and contemporary realm. And we wanted to join up and work on a project together that would explore Argentine tango as a physically integrated dance. And for this, we didn't have a pre-existing template how to manage lead and follow with our dynamic of Rodney dancing with a wheelchair, using a wheelchair, and me standing, dancing as a follower with Rodney leading. So this was part of our exploration and our challenge as we explored the movement and choreography for this film.
So I know I personally am not super familiar with various dance styles and I don't know, techniques, I guess. So could you just kind of maybe give like a surface level breakdown of Argentine tango and then the more contemporary styles that Rodney does?
Sure. So Argentine tango is a beautiful improvisational dance form that involves the language of lead and follow. So typically there is a leader and a follower, and they are conversing in movement. The leader proposing, initiating movements, and the follower responding actively to those proposals and engendering a very lively evolving conversation. So in the film, we start with a dance that I do with one of my partners, Count Glover, and we intentionally show a bit what Argentine tango would look like in a more kind of conventional format, if you will, and as it might be seen danced in a social dance club setting. And then we segue into my dance with Rodney to facilitate the viewer's understanding, if the viewer is perhaps less familiar with Argentine tango, of how we sought to translate the form over to our particular partnership. My dancing with Rodney involved navigating that the height differential, for one, with the wheelchair and with me standing as the follower. And we wanted to highlight the embrace of Argentine tango in parts, which is a key component of the dance, as well as a beloved theme of the dance. So we enjoyed figuring out ways to embrace one another and move together.
And could you elaborate a little bit on that, just your collaboration with him and I mean, the choreography process, the filming, how that all just came together?
Sure. So it started with Rodney and me meeting in a dance studio in San Francisco and essentially working in a kind of lab experiment format. We were just trying out different ideas and process of trial and error. We'd film ourselves, see what worked, see what didn't work, revise, go back to the drawing board. And it began that way. And then a little further on into the process, Raymond Ocampo Jr. came on as our executive producer, and Philip Kangotanda as co-director took an interest in what we were doing, and the project began to have a life. And we worked up some choreography and brought in a production film crew and a wonderful editor in Steve Eagleton, and that's what led to Tango Body, a love story. With Philip Kangotanda on board, he very much wanted us to tell, as he put it, a human story, and in no way to sort of sensationalize the wheelchair component of what we were doing, but really just to showcase both of us as people, as dancers, as artists who had come together and were exploring our identities and our passions for our respective dance traditions.
And I really like the synopsis, honestly. So I kind of want to read that and then ask you something about it. I'll read it first. So it says, a dreamscape milonga, an intimate embrace, a quirky trip into new terrain, Argentine tango, the walking dialogue of infinite possibility is re-envisioned as a physically integrated partner dance, an interplay of legs, feet, and wheels in this visually stunning film, a heartening affirmation of freedom, of unity, and diversity. So again, that is very beautifully written and definitely does capture the essence of the film. I just want to ask, what does that mean to you, and what does this story mean to you? It looks like we may have lost her. No. Okay. See. Okay.
Recording stopped.
Hey, Chelsea, you're back.
Recording in progress.
Okay, did you get to hear my question?
I did not.
Okay, it's okay. I'll repeat it. Here, I'll start from like rereading the synopsis, okay? And can you hear me well, Chelsea? Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I was saying that I really enjoyed the synopsis, and I think it definitely captures like the essence of the film. So just to reread it again, a dreamscape milonga, an intimate embrace, a quirky trip into new terrain, Argentine tango, the walking dialogue of infinite possibility is re-envisioned as a physically integrated partner dance, an interplay of legs, feet, and wheels in this visually stunning film, a heartening affirmation of freedom, of unity, and diversity. So I just kind of want to ask if you could elaborate on what all that means to you, and what the styles of dance and bringing them together, what that means to you.
The phrase that comes to mind is a dream come true. This was a project that I wanted to do for some time. The opportunity to work with Rodney Bell, to choreograph to the music of Max Masri and Tanghetto, to direct with Philip Kangotanda, and to receive mentoring from him, as he's a master artist and director, and to have the support of Raymond Ocampo Jr. This truly was a dream come true for me, and it was a labor of love for all of the people involved. And we put our hearts out there in the dance and on the film, and we're so happy to have this chance to share it with Destiny City Film Festival.
And we're very happy to have it. So, of course, thank you for sharing your story. And you just mentioned the score, so I wanted to touch on the importance of the score and just the general composition. How did that come about? And could you just kind of walk us through the details of bringing this music and dance together?
Yes. So I knew that I wanted to work with the music of Tanghetto and to have Max Masri be our music director. Max and I have collaborated over the years. He is a fantastic musician, composer, music director. He founded the electro tango band Tangato, which has been nominated for 4 Latin Grammy Awards and has won numerous awards in Argentina and beyond. And we work together very, very well. The key song in the film is a piece called Renacer, which is to be reborn, or the concept of rebirth. And I think that it is well suited to the vision that we had for this choreography and this film, of coming together and birthing something new, a new way of imagining the possibilities within Argentine tango and contemporary dance.
Great. And then something else I found super interesting about the film is, so it opens up with, or maybe it's not in the beginning, I can't remember where exactly in the film it is, but it talks about both of your heritages. So could you talk to me about that and the importance of including that in the film, but also within your dance?
Yes. So Rodney and I, in our work together, we talked about our intersectional identities. And I am, for example, I'm Chinese, I'm Danish, I'm Polish, I'm American, was born and raised in San Francisco, and I am deeply devoted to the art form of Argentine tango, and have spent much of my adult life traveling to Argentina and learning, studying, teaching, choreographing, performing that art form. Rodney is Maori from New Zealand. He's deeply connected to and proud of his tribe, and he brings that to bear on his dancing, on his modern dance, on his contemporary dance, on his artistic expression, and is a loving representative of his culture and his history. And we wanted to start out the film with a bit of Rodney and his world and me and my world, and then bring those together and treat them in a somewhat even-handed way. That was our intention.
And could you also talk about the locations where this was shot? Of course, some of it looks like it was shot in a studio, but there's also other scenes, like maybe on a beach. Just could you talk about how you kind of scouted locations and why you thought some were appropriate for the film and the dance?
Sure. The beach scenes we shot at Ocean Beach here in San Francisco, and we were seeking a representation of Rodney's connection to the beach and to the water. And we found a beautiful spot that we thought was fitting. For the interior shots, we wanted to create a milonga, an Argentine social dance club setting. And we used a theater space and a multi-purpose space at City College of San Francisco, where I've taught on the dance faculty for many years, and collaborated with 2 stars of the theater department there, Patrick Toby and Jeff Kelly, who transformed some spaces for us with their magic and their lighting. And we were able to create my kind of boudoir, as we called it, as well as the club setting.
Great. And I think the locations really, they're very, just the contrast of them is very beautiful. And I don't know, they just all work together. It's kind of hard to describe, but they all work together to really advance the emotion and just the general feeling, I guess, and atmosphere of this film. So I really appreciated that. And then, of course, the film is titled Tango Body, A Love Story. I just want to ask if you could maybe elaborate on what that title means. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but how'd you land on that title?
Well, I think this is this is about opening hearts and opening minds and expanding possibilities, envisioning anew. And so within the title, there is kind of the question, whose body is embraced by tango as a dance form, is part of that. So that Rodney's body, that my body, that we're both ideal candidates for this art, and that there's a statement about that within the title, that we don't have to fit some narrow concept of what that might entail. And the love story is multifaceted. It's intended to be potentially a love story between the characters, but it's also, as I think I've been indicating all along, our love for our dance forms, for this adventure we embarked on together, and for the audience, really, because we wanted to create something to share. So I would add that it is intended to be dreamy, to be transporting. We chose a non-verbal format, in part for accessibility, and it's intended to be non-linear. Again, supporting the dream-like quality.
And something I always like to ask is, my question is there anything that I didn't ask, or that I maybe wouldn't think to ask, that you'd like to share? And this can be an anecdote about production. It can be, I don't know, really just anything you like to say that I didn't ask about.
I think I would hope that this might pique the audience's curiosity about Argentine tango and about physically integrated dance, and also that it could have people asking for themselves, where within what I love and what I do can I seek to expand and open the playing field, that people in direction all along.
Chelsea, are you able to hear me?
Oh.
Looks like we may have lost you again. You're frozen.
I'm here.
Okay, I can hear you.
Here, yes.
Okay, you're still frozen, but I can hear you. So that's good. Yeah, could you repeat part of that last answer? Okay, you're frozen again, and I can't hear anything if you are talking. Okay, good. You're back.
I'm back.
So yeah, that was pretty much my last question, but I didn't hear the majority of it. So would you just remind, or would you mind starting from the beginning of that answer, or wherever in that story you'd like to start, just so we can get that recorded?
Sure. I think I would just go back to our original intention, and that was to open hearts and open minds with this labor of love project. And so I hope that it inspires viewers to ask themselves, where within what I'm doing with what I love, can I open the playing field? Can I expand possibilities for others? And that would be my wish.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea, again, for your work and for sharing your film with us. We're very excited to screen to our own audiences. So people watching this, please tell your friends about Tango Body, a love story, this very beautiful piece. And once again, Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.